Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. And we've been talking about different terms, and you know, we hear these questions about people asking us, what does that term mean, or what does this mean? And so we thought we would do, it's basically like a Q&A, because these are questions that we have had over the years. And so we're answering some of those, you know, questions, giving you some answers to some terms and some definitions, and hopefully helping your understanding grow in terms of how the market operates and what some of these different definitions are, and you know what everything means. So
of course, and the better understanding that if you're looking at buying or selling real estate, the better prepared you are to take that process on.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
100%.
BJ, I got the first.
Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome back to the 90s, right? The music starts and the fight happens.
For everyone joining us in our live audience, and for the millions watching around the world.
Right?
Yeah, let's get ready to go through these terms.
That's awesome. I actually,
with some questions to follow.
I put that on my playlist, on my workout playlist, actually. I found the Let's Get Ready to Rumble on Spotify and stuck it on my playlist.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Do you do a pre-workout? Or do you just listen to like Michael Buffer?
Yeah, right. No.
Okay, let's get serious here for a minute, okay. Right? Please.
Right. Straight face. Right. No smiling. We're serious now. Ready.
Conveyance. What does that mean?
Conveyance is actually the transfer of the title. That's really the long and the short of it.
Transfer title.
Title
okay.
from the seller to the buyer.
What is the title?
So the title is,
just in case, you know.
Yeah, sure. The title is actually what you are, what you're given that says you own this property.
Aha.
So you're, you know, when we pull title on a property, it'll show who the actual owner is. Because here's the important thing you want to know. You always want to know, if you're acting for somebody to sell their home, that they can legally sell their home.
It's actually them.
Right? Because I think we heard that, I heard something about it, I'm sure you did, where somebody sold somebody a home that they didn't own.
Over the years, that's a scam that,
right?
You know, we watch out for.
Yeah. So that's what the title is. The title will also show you if there's liens on the home. So typically we expect to see a mortgage of some kind, because the bank, obviously, they want to be in first place so that they are getting paid out in when there's a sale.
Right. So the financial charges.
Yeah.
Mortgage, line of credit.
Sure.
Whatever the case may be. A lien on the property if there is one.
Yeah, and if there's an easement or a right-of-way or a building scheme, we'll see those things on there as well.
If I was watching American HGTV or some Hollywood things, this is also referred to as a deed.
Okay.
And in the U.S., it's also called that.
Okay.
Or also, that's what they call it. We call it a title.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
All right.
All right. Let's say I've been looking at listings, and I noticed some differences on what the ownership or what the legal form is. And sometimes it's called a co-op. What is a co-op?
A co-op is essentially everybody owns a share of whatever this project is, or this.
Let's say it was a townhouse complex that I was looking at.
So this townhouse complex, everybody owns a share. And because you own a share, you get exclusive use of a townhouse.
Does everybody else that owns shares have exclusive use over, or is it separately between each of those townhouses?
Yeah, it's like, it's not like we're having a, you know.
It's not a party.
It's not everybody's coming over to my house for a group hug because they all are living in the same place.
Right.
Right. So everybody, their ownership of that share gives them exclusive access to wherever they're going to.
Sort of a designated unit.
Right.
But it's in the form of shares.
Yeah.
Instead of?
Well, if it's a strata, you actually own a piece, you own your unit, and you own a piece of the common property.
Is the financing different?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because I know, like, if it's a condo or townhouse, a strata, you would just get a conventional mortgage for
Right.
that, or a high ratio mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, but for a co-op,
Yeah.
I've never sold a co-op, so
Nor have I.
yeah.
I had some clients looking at one at one time, and when they looked into how they would have to do the financing, they decided it wasn't worth pursuing.
They have different loans, a specialized loan for that instead of a
Yeah, the down
conventional
payment. Yeah,
mortgage.
the down payment was considerably higher, and so and they couldn't. There were a number of lenders that just flat out wouldn't deal with them.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Great. All right, moving on.
Okay.
We talked about offers before. I want to bring up this offer, or this term used in offers. What is a counter offer?
Well, so this one's pretty easy. When I receive, so I'm acting for the seller in this case. We receive an offer. It has certain, price terms and everything else. Maybe when I present it to my client, he said, I like the price, but I don't like the dates. I need to move. I need another 30 days so I can find a place to move to, or another 90 days or whatever. But essentially what we're doing when we counter is we're saying, we appreciate your offer, but here are some things we'd like to see different.
This would be more suitable for your sake.
Yeah.
And see if that fits.
And the negotiation process is not, hey, we won and they lost and we are the victors. We conquered. That's not what negotiation really is. It's about finding a common ground that works for everybody, right?
Right. You can't just beat somebody into submission.
I mean, I suppose you could, but that wouldn't.
Right.
It wouldn't. I can't see that being.
But that's not how we do it.
Yeah. That's not really the idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Also with contracts and looking at property information.
Yeah.
What is a disclosure statement?
So when we have, now let's go back to I'm acting for the seller.
Okay.
So when we set up everything and we go through the contract and we talk about the listing of the property and all of those things, we go through this disclosure statement, which is basically the seller identifying what he does or does not know about the property. These are generic questions that are, that they have basically. Are you aware of any oil tanks? Are you, do you have an occupancy permit? And in some of those cases, they'll be like, I've lived here for 30 years. What do you mean, do I have an occupancy permit? So they'll be like, it does not apply or don't know. And essentially, that's what the disclosure statement is. It's the seller going through this form and identifying, this is what I know, this is what I don't know about the home or the property.
This is probably a good place to add into, along with disclosure statements, a property disclosure statement, what would be, because there's one of the questions on there, if the seller is aware of a material latent defect. So what is a material latent defect?
Yeah, so material latent defect means that there is something wrong or there's an issue with the property that is not, readily available or visible to the naked eye or a cursory kind of examination. So if you know, I don't know, let's pick something. If the foundation is rotten, you have a legal obligation to disclose that.
But it's not from the first thing you said. It's not an obvious defect.
Yeah.
Like you cannot discover it just by having a look at it.
Right.
So this sounds like it should be either hidden, or it might be only known by the seller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if I have let's say I put a suite in my house. I didn't get a permit for it.
Well, you have a couple of issues. I mean, the bank could say, we're not gonna give you income from that suite because it's not a permitted suite.
Right.
We don't know on that count. We don't know that the electrical was done to code. We don't know that the plumbing was done to code or whatever else is done in there. The other part of that is the city can show up at any time, whatever municipality we're dealing with,
Yeah.
and say, hey, this thing's not permitted, tear it down, or bring in the professionals to get all the permits done.
Right. So upon like a normal inspection, like walking through, it's not obvious if the suite has a permit or not.
Right.
Unless of course you're aware of all of the parameters that you need to have one.
Right.
Um, okay. Uh, what if I repaired my roof leaked and I repaired it? Is that a material latent defect?
You would still, the fact that it happened, depending on when it happened,
Last year.
you'd need to disclose that.
Like, oh, okay, I patched my roof last year, hasn't leaked since.
Right.
So is that okay? But I should tell them anyways?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd want to know, okay, who patched your roof?
Sure.
Did you just go up there and do it yourself? And, then I would then identify to the person doing the inspection, can you tell me when you're going through the house, they said there was an issue with leaking in the roof. We need to make sure that you're monitoring, you run your monitor for moisture up in the attic and make sure the quality of work is near as you can tell. So we identified what was done and how it was done.
So on that conversation, if there has been some damage to the property and now it's been repaired,
Yeah.
at least to have some more information backing up that repair has been successful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, what if I sell the house in the summer, but my roof only leaks in the winter?
Yeah, you still have an obligation to disclose that. That's a material.
Even if it's not obviously, like you can't see staining,
Right.
maybe. Yeah.
Right. And that probably is one of the classic examples
That's
of material latent defect.
ridiculous example,
Right.
but yes, of course,
Right.
right? What if it's something like I built a permit I built a deck on the back without a permit.
People do that all the time.
Yeah.
And you can ask, was the deck permitted? I've had clients say, the deck wasn't permitted, but I don't care.
Yeah.
In terms of as a buyer.
But do you disclose that now on the material latent defect form or?
Well, you disclose it on the disclosure
So you
form that you
disclose
built
it
it.
anyways.
You built the deck, and however you want to phrase that, I built the deck.
Okay.
Did it myself. It's the Home Depot special, whatever.
Okay. I could probably go on for examples and examples, but
Yeah.
that's probably enough for right now. I want to cap it off with talking about lenders. Now, sometimes people will ask me, well, what's an A lender? What's a B lender?
Sure.
And what's a private lender?
Yeah, I think the simplest way to explain levels of lender is the level of lender is connected to your credit rating. So, and your down payment and your income, because the higher all of those things are, the more likely what we call the A lender. So they're going to give you the best interest rates. They're typically going to give you the best terms. But they want to make sure that they're giving the best everything to the lowest risk people.
The lowest risk client, yeah.
Right. And the B lender is simply just that. It's just a step down from that.
And maybe not as good credit.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good down payment. Whatever the case.
Whatever. The
their
ratios
parameters
maybe are a little bit different in terms of your debts and things like that. So they're going to still lend you the money, but it's going to cost you a little bit more. Interest rate might be higher. There might be more fees up front. They might...
Or maybe harder to qualify.
Yeah, all of these things. And the private lender is really a short-term solution if you need to get from point A to point B. So maybe you need a couple of years with a private lender so you can switch by building your credit up and switch it over to a B lender and whatever that might look like.
Move your way up.
Yeah, but the private lender is going to be typically that's a short-term situation, and the interest rates are going to be significantly higher than what you're going to get on from an A lender, as an example.
Awesome. Well, I hope that's a bite-sized piece that you can absorb, learn more about real estate terms to get you guys ready for your real estate transaction, if it's either buying a home or selling a home.
And you know what, if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel, like the video. That'll help us grow grow the channel and grow as we continue on. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like specifically for us to address, please put it in the comments, or I believe in the description we have our email addresses. You can email us as well.